Apple Plus has just finished season 3 of its flagship TV show, The Morning Show, and I have to say I was totally surprised to see that Bradley and Laura's relationship continued from last season, because I was honestly not expecting it. I actually thought that what we got in season 2 would end with that season, but we got more, and what's more, it played significantly into Bradley's storyline.
Maybe you'll come work at UBA again. And you can get a little office next to mine, and we can make out in the supply closet.
That sounds perfect.
For those of you who haven't seen The Morning Show, I will give some more or less spoiler-free summaries of all the seasons so far, and then I will dive a bit deeper into the gay, and why I think there is hope for Bradley and Laura yet. The Morning Show is a series that delves into the current topical issues as seen through the lens of the complex politics of an American news network, UBA. On a deeper level, the show explores how, just like in the real world, we are moving into a time where secrets cannot stay secret any longer, and as they surface, it shatters old patterns and forces people to take accountability for their actions. It starts with season 1, where Alex Levy, a longtime anchor of The Morning Show, finds out that her co-host Mitch has been fired following a secret investigation into sexual harassment that she then has to announce to America on air. This revelation throws the news network UBA into chaos as the culture of the network is scrutinized and they try to fill the gap that Mitch left. Alex is in the middle of contract negotiations and is trying to navigate the dicey internal politics, and in an effort to take control of the situation, announces that unknown Bradley Jackson, who had recently had a piece of local news reporting go viral, was to be her new anchor while receiving an award. The network is unable to back down given the shaky optics, and so Bradley is catapulted onto the national stage despite being pretty rebellious and possibly a liability. The season delves further into the complexity of the toxic workplace, culminating in an electric climax that had me guaranteed to come back for season 2. Season 2 opens up in the aftermath of Alex's on-screen meltdown that had, in essence, shaken down the entire network. Following that, she quits her job and has secluded herself out in the countryside, leaving Bradley as the new and untested anchor to prop up The Morning Show. She was not happy about it, which Alex finds out when she is wooed back into the fold by the new CEO, Corey, months later as a bid to try and boost flagging ratings. While the network had been shaken down, the politics are as dicey as ever. A reporter is writing a book about what was going on behind the scenes at UBA and is sniffing around. Out lesbian and anchor Laura Peterson, who has a history, and not that kind of history, with Alex, is interviewing her as part of her return to The Morning Show. For that piece, she interviews Bradley too, and they seem to hit it off. Later, off the record, Laura asks a probing question that Bradley doesn't want to answer, so she kisses her. This starts a secret affair between them. Bradley doesn't feel that she can come out as bisexual, which causes tension between her and Laura. And things get worse when Bradley is outed, causing her to spin out a bit, especially about the reaction from her family. Meanwhile, Alex is spinning out herself over this book that looks like it will expose that she and Mitch slept together a couple of times, which bodes badly given his sexual misconduct. So she heads out to Italy just as COVID is hitting the country to find Mitch and get him to sign an affidavit saying that they never slept together. She brings back COVID with her as the states start going into lockdown, and in a move to save her career from being cancelled, she chooses to essentially live stream her illness to the nation. Laura invites Bradley to come and quarantine with her at her country home. Season 2 felt like it didn't quite reach the same heights as season 1. The Mitch storyline was, in my opinion, given too much airtime, and in all honesty, it was the Bradley and Laura storyline that kept me in there. But season 3, I thought, stepped it up again, and the last 2 episodes were really strong. Season 3 opens up 2 years down the track with COVID madness beginning to wane. Bradley is anchoring the night news, which is something that she had always wanted to do. Alex is heading the morning show. UBA, however, is not doing well and in a desperate need of financing, and this leads to the possibility of tech billionaire Paul Marks buying up the network, and this initiates a discourse around the idea of private individuals and their power to buy and control avenues like news outlets and space programs. Bradley and Laura have split up, but when they see each other at an event, it seems like they still have genuine feelings for each other and decide to give their relationship another go, although there is a secret Bradley shares with Corey that when Laura finally finds out, puts her in a really difficult situation. So, spoilers ahead if you haven't seen the show. Before I talk about Bradley and her relationship with Alex and Laura, I wanted to mention how much I enjoyed Stella's arc in season 3 as she navigated the shark-infested waters of UBA being acquired, combined with her history with Paul. I thought they did an excellent job of exploring the tension between her being used as a pawn by the men around her and her struggling to find her own autonomy. The scene where she is trying to woo advertising dollars to help keep things afloat was particularly powerful at showing how much she has had to compromise herself, even letting her sweet waitress be humiliated to stay in this dangerous high-flying boys game. And I appreciated that by the end of season 3 it felt like she had managed to shake those demons off and to stand up for her truth. So let's talk about Alex and Bradley. The lesbian relationship between Bradley and Laura doesn't start until season 2, but in season 1, I won't lie, I was having feelings about Alex and Bradley, and low-key kinda still am.
I didn't know that you needed me to hold your hand. I need a partner.
Sometimes partners hold hands.
In the midst of the Me Too narrative of season 1, Alex and Bradley are thrown together as frenemies.
Don't fuck it up.
Alex representing institution, the longtime anchor, and the other half of her now disgraced on-screen husband Mitch, and Bradley as the maverick reporter who was in the right place at the right time. Working in a work environment like the one presented looks quite honestly exhausting, but I was totally there for Alex and Bradley's slow and halting relationship to develop because it was just great to see these two complex women trying to navigate those choppy waters.
Fuck, I don't know. You and me. Maybe you and I are in love. God, that would be preferable.
And look, the shipper and me wanted it to be more than friendship. I thought that there was some great chemistry between them and some very shippable moments, like the late night wine in Alex's apartment, or Bradley cradling Alex as she has a total breakdown after her marriage falls apart. In all honesty, that was as far as I thought the show would go too in terms of sapphic representation, making them ultimately good friends, and I could just quietly ship them with my mutuals on Tumblr. But alas, with season 2, these two ladies did not seem to be bosom buddies as I had hoped, and in fact spent most of the season apart and doing their own thing, which for me took away from season 2 a little bit. I'm not sure if this is just my lesbian tinted glasses or not, but I felt like season 1 was working to establish these ladies as the heart of the show, and I figured that that would entail them being good friends. Bradley seemed to feel the same way I did when Alex absconded after season 1 and reproached her for it. And I think if Alex was up for it, Bradley would be a fierce and loyal friend to her. Well, she has been a fierce and loyal friend because she kind of saved Alex's ass at the end of season 2 when she interviewed Maggie, the writer of the book, with her damning allegations. I think it's Alex who's too caught up in herself to even notice. In season 3, they came off as just good colleagues, and again, I missed their dynamic. That is until the last couple of episodes when they drew together, this time from Alex realizing how Bradley has been there for her. And I won't lie, I was delighted to see that final scene revolve around these two women solidifying their friendship. Side note, I thought Alex's story was so powerful, and I was so happy when she came in and undercut that UBA acquisition. Love the journey that she went on this season. So it feels like they've gotten there, although of course that could all change once again with season 4, which has been greenlit. But while the Alex and Bradley friendship was on the rocks, these last 2 seasons we got the delightful addition of Laura Peterson in season 2. So Bradley is no stranger to controversy. Her viral video at the mining picket line was part of a pattern that makes her something of a loose cannon. Then she revealed that she had an abortion on live TV when she was younger, which got the approval of some of the younger watchers of the news. Although it was still pretty scandalous, it ended up solidifying her as a straight-talking, no bullshit kind of anchor, which ended up serving her. But when it comes to her sexuality, she's a lot more cagey. Since I was already shipping her and Alex and felt like Bradley was sporting a wee crush,
I don't know, there's something about her. I just always end up feeling for her.
Well, just wait.
having her turn gay was both not a surprise and absolutely delightful, but the circumstances under which the first kiss occurred with Laura made me question the staying power for the couple. Laura Peterson is Alex's peer in many ways. They were moving up together at the same time, but Laura being outed in the 90s when that could lose you your job meant she struggled to find her footing again. But she's still ambitious and intelligent, which leads her to ask Bradley if she had been properly vetted for her meteoric rise to the morning show her anchor position, clearly suspecting that there was something juicy there to uncover. To shut her up, Bradley kisses her, and it's not clear if the kiss is to change the subject or because she's been wanting to do that, or both.
I don't know. I know I'm a total pain in the ass, but I want to tell you that because I want you to know that I am.
It wasn't until the scene outside Laura's place when Bradley hugs her desperately that I personally got on board with them. It shows that there were some genuine feelings there, and they just live in a very complicated world. And then there is Corey too, which I will discuss in a moment.
For someone in the closet, you sure know your way around.
I'm not in the closet. I'm just not actually a lesbian.
The major issue of season 2 that arises between them is that Laura is out and Bradley is not, and at the heart of why she's not out is because she comes from a conservative family in a small town and she is petrified of their reaction.
You don't know how I grew up. My mom and my brother.
You never stood a chance. I get it. I know why you're the way you are. I really do. But
No, you don't.
She's not off the mark with her fears either. She finds out that she has been outed when on a commercial break during live TV, co-anchoring with none other than Laura, which leads to her brother causing a scene. The worst of it is that Corey, the CEO of the company, is the one who outed her because he's trying to kill a news story about Hannah, a young woman who worked at UBA and then committed suicide at the end of season 1 as collateral damage in the Mitch Me Too debacle. At least that is the official reason, although really it's more about plain old jealousy and having Bradley, the woman he loves, in a relationship with someone else, which is frankly a shitty thing to do, but you know, it's a complex web on the show, and the way that they've been framing Bradley and Corey from the start had me, and still has me, more or less convinced, quite honestly, that the show will eventually have them get together, quite regardless of that toxic behavior, especially given how Bradley seemed to realize she had feelings for him while answering questions over allegations that Corey groomed her and the subsequent "I'll miss you" in the hallway. They've also established a kind of back and forth with these characters where they seem inadvertently to be drawn together repeatedly, whether it's Corey going to bat for Bradley and believing in her when others don't, or Bradley reaching out to Corey to help her with this mysterious secret that they share throughout season 3. And of course, there was the love declaration at the end of season 2. So you can imagine my surprise when Laura resurfaces in season 3, although they had clearly broken up during the pandemic. It seems Bradley felt unhappy and trapped out in Montana with Laura, but they love each other. This wasn't some superficial relationship, and I was thrilled to see them flirting at the investor party, and they get a few cute scenes. What they also get though is Laura being suspicious, just as she was in season 2, of what's going on with Bradley and Corey, and this is what leads to her digging into that mass leak that UBA experienced at the start of the season to uncover the secret that they share.
I thought you and Corey were...
No, never, ever.
He lied to the FBI. For you. That's love.
No.
I want nothing to do with it, and I want nothing to do with you.
No.
I am done with you.
Laura cutting all ties in a way that feels pretty devastatingly final, especially with Laura's declaration.
I thought we would get old together. I really did.
Has her at her absolute lowest ebb, but also, through the way things are shaking out with the UBA acquisition, forces her to take responsibility for her actions. And that's what the show has been doing so well, is pulling on all these threads each season to unravel these complex narratives to imperfectly force its morally grey characters to face up to some home truths. So yeah, it seems that Laura is perhaps not the long romantic game for Bradley, which is sad because what a delight to have Reese Witherspoon and Juliana Margulies playing lovers. And I think Corey is a bit too much of a man-child. Don't get me wrong, he's got a blustering charm, but frankly, he's not good enough for Bradley, and I think Laura makes Bradley a better person. But I'm not the one writing the show. Having said that, given the way the show tries to take narratives and give them nuance and depth, perhaps the writers will surprise me. Perhaps part of the narrative they want to tell for Bradley is that even though all of the conventional storytelling tropes point to Corey being her endgame love, that kind of toxic behavior he displays is not going to be ignored. And not that I'm saying that Laura's perfect, but at least in my eyes, she's the better choice. She is a better match. She's more grounded, a better influence. Perhaps the story they're telling is what looks like the obvious and easy choice is not necessarily the right one. Perhaps Corey's journey to being a better man is through painful, unrequited love. It does happen. That Laura asking Bradley to step up and make better choices, and Bradley asking Laura to be more compassionate, shows that they are a work in progress, but they're grown up enough to see that and are willing to do that work. And Bradley is showing us in action that she is trying to be the better person Laura saw her to be by how she resigns from her job to protect Laura and turns herself into the FBI. So, for all that I said Corey is in-game, maybe, hopefully he's not. That to me at least would be a far more interesting and progressive storyline and be well in keeping with the themes of the show. Quite honestly, could you imagine Corey and Bradley together as a couple? It would be chaos. What are your thoughts about this Laura Bradley Corey dynamic? Let me know in the comments. Check out my review of Double Parked, a fun and light look at a lesbian couple starting a family, which is on your screen, or click on the playlist to see my other reviews and recaps. Until next time, lady lovers.